I am a daughter of the city of Newark, New Jersey. I was born and raised here. The city has taken care of me. The city has helped form me. The city has helped me drive to my passion for me to become the person that I am today. I grew up in the North Ward section of the city to a single mom of 3 daughters. My mom had an 11th grade education, and I guess you can say we were poor, but I didn't know we were poor because we lived in a community where families took care of one another. My mom worked every day. She even worked on the weekends, so it was the other mothers in the neighborhood that helped form and shape who I am today. I had friends that were Italian, Puerto Rican, Jewish. They lived on the same block. I first learned that you don't call it spaghetti sauce when you go into an Italian household, you call it gravy. When I would go visit my friends Yvette Garcia and Luz Cadabera, we always ate rice and beans. You know, when I reflect on it, all of these individuals lived on the same block. The Jewish history teacher was the first person who taught us about apartheid in South Africa. And that's when I realized that I lived in a very different world than the community that I came from. So this is the neighborhood where I still have, 40 years later, friends. We just celebrated last year our 40th high school reunion. And my mother would always say, she would always wonder, like, where are you? I'm like, I'm going around the Debbie West house. And she would always say, you and that Debbie West, you're going to get in trouble. But we are still friends to this day, 40 years later. So currently, I am working with the New Jersey Performing Arts Center on a project, I think in its infancy stage, to have a conversation between Blacks and Jews. One of the things that we recognize is that Blacks and Jews are some of the most targeted 2 groups for hatred, for racism, for discrimination, for anti-Semitism. If we can come together as 2 groups who have a long history and somewhat of a common history of oppression, to work together to design programming, action steps to bring diverse communities together, I think it's transformative. The Black community and their relationship with Jews are based on lived experiences. Some of it is positive, some of it is negative, and we need to determine whether it is fact or fiction. Some of that may be romanticized, that we want to think we really do get along. Do we really? So we really need to engage in that conversation about whether or not we really do get along. And if we don't, how can we? If we are paying attention to what is going on in the news, you recognize that some people's truths are being invalidated. And these are 2 groups of people, Blacks and Jews, whose stories and the attack is real. Targeted, intentional, and so if we can come together and be able to validate and share one another's stories, then we're actually creating something. And so the goal of these sessions is, yes, for us to come together to fellowship, but to be able to walk out of this with something that's possibly actionable. To be able to use this in other communities that have diverse backgrounds to engage in what we're calling storytelling. When I was beginning this process, yes, I was reticent to the work. I already had a new position that I needed to develop as the Director of Public Engagement, and in my prayer session in the morning, I just felt that maybe this is not something that I want to take on. And so in my prayer, I was just like, God, help me out. The Holy Spirit said, Moses and Noah. I first read God's instructions to Moses And as I was reading the instructions that God gave to Moses, the revelation was there is a Pharaoh spirit in the land. Then I went and read the instructions that God gave to Noah. And the instructions to Noah, as we all know, is to build an ark. But what God said to me is to build a new ark. Newark is the new ark, which is why this work in the city of Newark, New Jersey, is so important.